Well, how I met Mr. Spillane, or as my friends call him, Pop Spillane. My friends are over there all sitting together. And I first met Mr. Spillane through his sons, and I met them in my sophomore year of high school. And they were fighting right next to me in my computer app class, and they were going at it. They were literally, I thought they were going to start fighting. I was just scared for my life. I'm like, oh my God, scary. But then the next Sunday, John spotted me out. He's like, hey, you're in my computer app class. I'm like, I am. Yeah, I am. I was just scared for my life a little bit because they were like right next to me. So the next thing you know, my mom gets to know their mom. They invite us over for dinner. And then I slowly got to know the entire family, and I also began to know Mr. Spillane. Now, what I can say about Mr. Spillane is this. He was, I would say, my first spiritual director. When, the year after we graduated high school, John and I, he went and did Regnum Christi, and I went to Denver, Colorado with Kevin. And what fun times those were. And when I came back, Kevin was still in Denver, but I really had nothing to do. I was working from 6 to 12 in the morning, and the rest of the day I had free. So I would literally go over to the Spillanes every day, and Mr. Spillane always had a project. He was always doing something. And one time I came over, and I was kind of frightened by the sight. He had cut off his jeans and made these shorts, short shorts. And I was like, whoa, hey there. And so he's like, Tony, I need your help. One of the pigs got loose. And I'm like, wait, you know a pig? And so he's like, I need you to take this slop bucket, and I need you to run with it and get the paw back into the, I'm like, you want me to what? And so I grabbed the slop bucket, and I started running with it and everything, and here comes, Joe, this huge hog, and it's coming. And he's like, kid, just keep going, just keep going, just keep. And he's like, I already had a hockey stick. I'm like, where did you get the hockey stick? And he's like, hey! And he's coming right at me. So I'm like, this thing ain't stopping. So I'm running, so into the cage and everything. And I'm like, and I just all of a sudden, knee deep, and I don't know what it was. So we get the pig in. And then all of a sudden the pig was kind of like, there's more? Oh my gosh. And so he's like, okay, thanks, Tony. So what brings you over? I'm like, oh. But the thing about Mr. Spillane was he was a great father figure. I would say he's one of 4 father figures I have. The first is God, the second is my dad over there. And then there's Father Higgins, who I believe, and then there's him. And the thing about him and my group of friends, he, for some reason, pointed at me. I was like, you ever thought about priesthood? And I'm like, you? And then he's like, I think you'd be good at it. I mean, I see you there with Father Higgins all the time. And I was like, you? And so as that entire year went by, I started thinking about it more. And he kept on asking me more about it. And finally we had a sit-down discussion and everything. And he's like, I could see you doing it, Tony. I was like, well, I can't see myself doing it. And then I went to St. Joseph College Seminary for Come and See. And I fell in love with the place, I fell in love with the people, and I fell in love with God. And when I came back, I wanted to surprise my parents. So I didn't tell them right away. And they, of course, were at work, and I had just gotten back. And so I went and told Mr. Spillane. Mr. Spillane's like, it's about time. Let's start it. And so he's like, so how are you going to surprise them? I'm going to surprise them. Well, I tried to surprise my parents, but my mom already knew. So she was like, yeah, I knew you were going to go. I was like, oh, well, thanks, Mom. But I'm in my junior year of seminary, and it is the toughest year. It's been told to be one of the toughest years. Because everything becomes real. You realize what you're giving up. You realize the beauty of it, but you realize the pain and the sacrifice as well. And last memory I had of Mr. Spillane was I visited him, I visited the family because I was making my usual visits to say bye to everyone before I head out. And he was the only one there. So he and I were talking and everything, and I was telling him my fears, and I was telling him my doubts. Like, oh, listen, I'm very broken, I'm very wounded, there's no way I can do this, I don't think I'll make it. He was like, Tony, I believe that God will get you through it. I believe God will show you. It's like, you just have to trust in him. Now, there's a tradition at ordinations and at first masses, after a priest is ordained and he has the chrism poured on his hands, he rubs it on the manturgeon and he just gives it to his mother. And the story is, like the tradition goes, that mom, when she dies, she will, it'll be wrapped around her and she will go to heaven and she will show people in heaven, you gave me a son, I gave you a priest. Well, there's another tradition with the fathers where you can either one, give them your first confession stole, or the rosary that you prayed with throughout seminary. Well, I had this entire plan that I was going to get 2 Maniturgians because Mrs. Spillane's like another mother to me, and I was going to give one to her, and I was going to give one to my mother. And then I was going to give my dad the confessional still, and I was going to give Mr. Spillane my rosary. Because I had made Mr. Spillane promise that when I graduated from college seminary, that he would bring the family out, and that when I get ordained, I would want him sitting next to my family as well. I'm going to miss him. We're all going to miss him. We love him so much. And I can't believe he's gone. In fact, I was actually camping in Texas, and I was wearing a sweater that he gave me, the Icelandic sweater. He gave it to me when we went camping here, and I was wearing it throughout the entire camp out. And I was wearing it when I got the call. I didn't cry. I didn't know how to react. He was a mentor, a father, a friend. And he will be missed. Thank you.